What's up, y'all? My name is Baloo Black, and as always, welcome to the Dogman Cometh. At the time of this recording, it's not even 6:30 in the morning where I live, and I've had a long night, so I thought maybe I'd just get this out of the way a little early and kill some time by making another video. And pardon me, man. I mean, I'm a smoker, so of course I'm gonna have some problems with coughing and shit like that. But that's not what this is about. Um, and I'm sure you people already know about a website called phantomsandmonsters.com. Uh, I found this. They've got a lot of good stories and good shit on there, man. You ought to check it out if you haven't already. And now, I found these two stories on there which I thought were pretty interesting, and I wanted to share with y'all. Uh, and I mean, of course, we already know what they're about. They're about dogman, or upright canid creatures, as always. And since I've been doing this little series, man, I have fun researching cryptozoology and the paranormal and the occult, and you know whatever you want to refer to it as. I have a lot of fun doing that in the first place, but there's something about the dogman. There's just something about it, and anyone who's interested in that probably understands to some degree what I'm talking about. And I mean, for a creature to be so terrifying, and trust me, they are terrifying. Even if you're not, being attacked by one of these things, which I'm sure a few people have been attacked, and lived to tell the tale, but they're few and far between, I'm sure. But just seeing the thing is terrifying, let alone being chased by it or being attacked by it. But there's just something about them that make you want to know more. It makes you want to just gather as much information on the subject of dogman that you possibly can. And that's what I want to do, man. I want to follow in the footsteps of some people who want to get this information out there, and I would like to be, or at least have a part in helping that mission along, even in some small way if possible. And that's what I'm gonna do. So well, like I said, I'm talking about these two stories. I only got two of them because I want people to actually go onto the website and check out the rest of them. But this should be pretty interesting. I hope you enjoy them. Now, the first story I want to read is well, it starts out like this. It says, "Hey, I'm Mike from the Sheboygan, Michigan area. This is true what I'm about to describe. On November 24th of 2010, me and two of my friends went out at night around 12 a.m. We were not hunting, but we had weapons. We were looking for a spot to set up our blinds for the muzzleloading season, when we crossed from a field with tons of deer beddings. We came into another field with none whatsoever, and we continued through this field and came across some kind of game trail. We decided to venture down this trail into the woods. We got maybe 300 yards back in it and started hearing heavy breathing and snapping sounds in the thick brush to our right. We thought maybe coyotes, but we got to a corner and were stopped in our tracks. In front of us, maybe 60 yards away, was something blacker than the woods itself, standing on 2 feet, and it must have stood between 6'8" and 7'4". We slowly turned away and backtracked. Before we got to the field, the same thing was in front of us again. We turned around for a second and then turned back and it was gone. When we got into the field, We noticed there were 4 or more of these creatures, one on each corner of the field, just standing there. We saw one move halfway behind a tree, and at this point, we were freaking out. We made our way through the field and got to the edge, and there was one standing directly in the middle of the trail entering the woods. We hauled butt back home, and the whole way we felt like we were being watched and stalked. We have been out every night since then. We have learned do not use lights because it comes closer than 60 yards. The closest it has been to me was maybe 25 yards and was moving closer. At that point I shot at it. There were 5 total that we saw the first night and after I shot one. We went out last night and there were only 4, and they seemed more aggressive. In the field it seems they tried herding us into a corner. Now you can believe this or not, but I am in the Michigan National Guard and I put what I saw on my warrior ethos and Army values. Now that story in itself has to be a terrifying experience. Seeing one of them is bad enough, but 4 or more, yikes. Sounds like some trouble right there. Anyway, let's get on to the next one. Now, for the second story, it's a little shorter, but I'm sure for the person who experienced it, is no less terrifying than any other story. And I mean, a lot of people have their experiences will differ, I'm sure, but I mean, at least with some people, they they unfortunately encounter these creatures. But with some people, they have nothing between themselves and these creatures. Like, some people may experience it by let's say they're driving down a back road somewhere and they see these creatures, but they're inside their car. I mean, not that it would be too hard for one of these dogmen to, let's say, shatter a window or even maybe rip a door off of the car itself. But I mean, at least that's some resistance. And some people don't have that, that little bit of a false sense of security, I guess. And it is a false sense of security because it's not much protection. I'm sure that that's not much protection, but at least it gives you a little bit of security. It gives you a little time to reevaluate the situation. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. The second story, it goes like this. I was driving north on Craig Lake Road towards Teddy Lake. As I approached Nestoria Road, I noticed something move off the edge of the road into the woods. It was around 6:30 a.m. and a little bit dewy and foggy at the time, but I definitely saw something move. I stopped at the intersection and watched across Nestoria Road. I first thought it was a moose, but it was too agile. I took a slow left turn and looked to my right into the woods. I didn't see anything, so I looked forward and sped up. Immediately, this animal ran out of the woods in front of my car and jumped across the road to the south side. I mean, it took 3 long strides and it was gone, almost like it vanished through an invisible wall. I was shocked. I continued driving for a few minutes, but had to pull off and stop on the side of the road. I was literally shaking from head to toe. I sat there wondering what it was. It was on all 4s and had back legs like those of a large man. It had jet black fur and looked like a very large wolf, other than the back legs and the human-like rump. There was no tail. The profile of the head and snout were that of a wolf. It didn't make a sound. I made it to the lake and drove back home in the same direction on Sunday. Well, this person was brave to say the least. If I seen something running across the road, I'd be like, see ya, and I'd be out of there. Because there ain't no way in hell I'm staying where I know there's some potentially dangerous, unknown creature running around. Especially, if I'm by myself. Screw that. But I guess that matter, or it doesn't matter anyway, because it wasn't me. And everybody's gonna handle these situations in a different way, and every encounter is different, regardless of where it takes place or in what it takes place or what location it happens. And every encounter is terrifying, people. With these things, every encounter is terrifying, and some people may get over their encounter faster than others. Some encounters may not leave such a scarring impression on a person, but they are all terrifying in some aspects. And all these encounters, you should, when you look into these encounters, is what I'm trying to say. When you look into these encounters and these stories, you should not only, take it with a grain of salt, but you should also not completely dismiss them either. Because, these things are, whatever these people are seeing, whatever people are seeing in general when it comes to the Dogman, it's something that can't be explained, but that doesn't mean it's something that is unexplainable. The unexplained is just something that has not, been explained yet. And here I go rambling again. You all understand what I mean. All I'm trying to say is this: do not completely dismiss somebody's encounter simply because you have yet to encounter something of the like. Because what these people see and what they encounter is something that's going to stay with them for the rest of their lives. They're never going to forget it. And just because there's no evidence doesn't mean that there's never going to be evidence. And just because there's no evidence now doesn't mean that this creature doesn't exist. The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. And that's what I want people to understand. Just because you can't prove something exists doesn't mean that you can prove that it doesn't. And I know for a fact that these things exist. No one will ever be able to tell me otherwise, because I've seen them with my own eyes. But people are going to have their opinions. And speaking of opinions, I would like to hear your opinions in the comments below. And I want to thank everyone so far who have subscribed or viewed my videos, and I really do appreciate it. And I would like to see if I can get the numbers to go up, if at all possible. And on that note, I'm Belil Black. Thank you for joining me on the Dogman Cometh, and I hope to see you next time. Take it easy, my friends.